after we've gone through this process regarding CompWeb, it's kind of a checklist type thing, or a, oh yeah, I have to do that now, or oh yeah, I have to do that now. So Russ Hobby is now the administrator of the CompWeb site, and he has graciously, sorry, this is going kind of fast down, created this test site for us for our little webinar here. So I'll just click on that. When you come into, let's see, let me close this. When you come into your show, this is basically what your initial screen will look like. Okay? So from this point, we'll zoom it back to Lori, I think. There you go.
We're going to start with, I'm going to show you a little bit my email here. I'm going to go here, and I emailed Russ yesterday about creating this test site so that we can have something to practice on. And here's an example of how quick Russ gets back to you. Yesterday I emailed him at 12:22 p.m. and by 12:38 p.m. I had the test site. So he might is on top of things. What you will get in your email when you get your password for your own competition is an email like this one here. It says CompWeb Administration. And it comes from CompWeb, not from Russ. But here is the administration password, our scoring username, and our scoring passwords for our fun little test site that we can practice on. So to get into our little site, I'm going to highlight or write down this number. It's easy for me just to copy and paste it. So I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to find our little test site. And just like Kathy showed you, this is what pops up. And because you are show managers, you are going to come and click on Administrator Login page and paste your password right there and hit log in. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because those numbers for me are kind of hard to remember, I like to change my passwords. So I'm going to change my administration password, and I'm going to go ahead and paste in my current password, and I'm going to write in all lowercase webinar. Right here, it's going to make me do it again, webinar. And I'm going to click OK, and it says my password's been changed. Now, what I would like for, just remember that little process. Remember our little password is webinar, because eventually I'm going to ask you to open a new window and get into this programs yourself so that we can practice this all together. The first thing that we're going to do remember last time is we made a prize list. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a prize list into this particular test site. I'm going to click Upload Events Documents, Prize List, Order of Go, etc. And it's going to take me to here. And then it's going to ask me to name what I'm going to upload. And what I'm going to upload is the Northeast Washington Fest prize list. We looked at that last time. It remembers. I've already typed that in someplace else. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. But you're going to put in here the name of your own prize list. So let's say you have Sunshine Show prize list. You're going to write down Sunshine Show prize list. Then we're going to click Choose File. And I'm going to look I'm going to look on, and remember it has to be a PDF file. If you have a Word file or any other kind of word processing file, it's not going to work. You need to export it as a Word file. I'm going to open that, and right here, there's my file that I want. I'm going to upload it. Click Upload. Okay, and it says it's been uploaded. So I'm going to click Return to Upload, and I'm going to click here to Back to Administration page. Now, almost all of these pages have a back button here. You don't really want to use these back buttons up here because sometimes it doesn't save what you've done. So go ahead and click the Back to Administration page. And for instance, if we go all the way back to main, here's our main thing. If we want to see if our prize list uploaded correctly, we can click this link to Event Documents. Oh, and look, magically, our prize list is right here, and we can click on it, and there's our prize list. And we can hit the back button there, and we can return to the login page and go back to the administrator login page, and of course, our little password is webinar. And then we'll log in. Okay, another thing that you might want to put there at some point is a lot of people like to put the order of go there so that parents and other interested parties can click on that without having to have the password for any particular team. Sometimes people like to put a release form there if they haven't included one in the prize list, or if they just want to make it convenient. You can put a release form there. Other announcements that you might want to put in there for whatever reason, you can put anything you want to right there, and it just lists the things. Okay, are there any questions about what we just did? You can also click the little chat bubble and ask a question that way if you don't want to use your own voices. Okay? No questions? Okay, we're going to move on then to the next thing, competition information. All right, so this part is a little bit more involved. Click competition information, because if we go back here and we looked at our main page from before, what this is going to do is it's going to give people the information they want about your show, and it's going to talk, you're going to be able to show who your judges are, and you're going to be able to put in all the information that people need to know. For instance, how much your classes cost, and it's going to enter that information into the program so that automatically can tally up each club's final bill. So, and my computer is thinking. There it goes. So if we put the test site, we'll go ahead and leave it the test site, but if we wanted to call it something else, we could put the name on it, like say if we say Sunshine Show. That would suddenly become what is up there where it shows test site. This part right here is just a tiny bit tricky in that you don't click return to make a new line. You have to insert this BR here. So if I say webinar series hosted by Kathy, and, well, I'll just make these separate lines. So then I put this BR Lori, BR, and Kathy, BR. Now, most people would put your judges' names there. We'll just do this. And here's where you put the starting date of your show and the ending date, starting with the year. CompWeb is really good. It shows you a nice example of how to put it. And here's where, when we get to this part here, this is where it's useful to pull up your prize list. So if I pull up the Northeast Washington Mountain Fest prize list, here on the front page it has the fees. So if we take this, we have a vaulter registration fee. It says right here $30. So we're going to put $30 here. And go to the next one. The Lunger registration fee is also $30. The additional USEF registration fee, we don't have one for this one because it's not USEF recognized. But if your show is USEF recognized, you would put that fee there. If you have a fun fest at the same time that you have your regular fest and it has a different registration fee, you would put the fun fest fee right here. And these are just there if you have like special cases where you want to do something and charge something a little different for that particular class. This allows you to do this. Here in Region 3, we have a $4 Region 3 fee, and there is a $7 AVA fee. And so we usually put the $11 right here, and then we put the description, Region 3 and AVA fees, like that. And we're going to say if our event is recognized by the AVA, this one is. We're going to say if our show is USEF recognized, and this particular show is not, so I'm going to put no. If it was USEF, there's another fee for that. We're going to put down our stabling information, and that information is in here. We're going to look for it. Stalls. Stalls are 12 by 12. A lot of times what I will do is copy and paste it. That way it's right there. I might change it to a capital T to make it proper English. This particular show charges per night, so we're going to put $40. And this is by the day. You also have the option of charging by the event. If you have a couple of days and you just want to charge everybody by the day, you know, that works. And then we got to make sure that we click available here, because in the system it'll show it as being available. A tack room is also $40 at this show, and we're going to click available. Okay, now as far as payment information, again, you're going to find it here on here. So here it is. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste it. If you've got your prize list worked out, this part is actually not too bad. Sometimes you might have to do a little bit of proofreading to make sure that it looks pretty good. And this entry closed message, this is the message that comes up if people come in and try to register after the close of entries. You might want to say something like, entries are now closed. Email Lori Robinson, or whoever it is that you want to take care of this stuff. For any questions. Now we're going to go ahead and put our close of entries date. And you've got the option even of time. So let's say 2018. And I'll just go ahead and make it that close of entry date. 2200 is 10 o'clock on April 4th. So at that time, this system will shut anybody trying to change their entries. They'll shut them out. And they will have to contact you directly if they want to make any changes. If you want to allow all vaulters into the Fun Fest, you click yes. And here's a little box here that might be, pertinent to those clubs that are a little bit smaller and might need a little help with volunteers from other clubs. If you don't have enough people to run your club, run the show all by yourself, then you're going to want to put yes here and put some words here for what is shown on the front of the sign-in page. All your help. And for this, it says display volunteer link on login page, yes. And then this is a pretty standard volunteer coordinator password. And a lot of people just kind of leave that there, 123 test. And for our purposes, we'll just leave that. And if we're done, if we think we're pretty happy, then we're going to click OK. And let's check our work. So we're going to go back to the main and see if what we did is going to make sense. Okay, so we see here, Sunshine Show. It's the webinar series. Here's the date for today, hosted by Lori and Kathy. Here's the competition login page. And here's what we put here. Thank you for all your help. We now have our, we've got our prize list on there. And our next step then, well, first, let me ask, does anybody have any questions about what we just did?
Hi, for the entry is now closed message, yes. Does that go up automatically after the close of entry date, or is that something that we put up manually?
Thank you for asking the question. That is something that is automatic. So like, for instance, in this show, it closed at 10 o'clock p.m. At 10 o'clock and 1 second, that's what somebody will see if they try to change their entries.
Okay, great. So it won't go up till after that. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Great, good question. Any other questions? Okay. So what we'll do at this point, we've got our competition information in. Now what we need to enter into CompWeb are the classes that we're going to offer. And I'm going to pass the ball back to Kathy to show you how to do that, because she is like awesome at that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so here we are back in our administration page, and we've done the competition information, we've uploaded our prize list. Now we go to offered classes. This is how it all starts out. Okay, up here in this part of the form is where you show where your classes are actually added. So we have an AVA show. We're going to add our A team, B team, C team, man, gold, silver, bronze.
Kathy?
Yes?
Do you want to add costs as you do that?
Oh, yeah. Or we can edit.
We can.
Because these are all here, but yes, that's a good thought. So if you're doing it before you add, let's see, Tammy's show copper costs $20. Here again, your prize list comes in real handy in setting this up. So then you can add your class. You do not put your dollar signs in, it's just a number. So these here that don't have them yet, we can go back and edit. And let's see. And the cost of it for, this is silver, I believe, was $30. And it's just $30. Sometimes you'll see in some prize lists that have a cost per round, or on a team it could be cost per vaulter. Then once you have your changes made that you need here, be sure to hit modify, not just back. Modify is what actually updates your line item. I'm going to write these down real quick. 30, 20. Cantor B and Cantor C are Canadian classes. $10.17. And then barrel classes. Wow. And okay, so we basically have all of our horse class fees and our fees for the barrel classes. So we'll edit these again. It was $10 per vaulter on the teams, and then be sure to modify. See how it comes over in a different column. This is team events only will show up in this column. Oops, see, I did it in the wrong place. So if you do make a mistake, it is pretty easy to go back in and edit, change your stuff, and then modify. Bronze is also $30.
Can I ask a question while you're on this page?
Sure.
Go right back to where you were in the edit.
In the edit? Mm-hmm.
The override logic allows any vaulter to register for class. Can you explain what that's for?
I don't know.
Oh,
so that would be something that I would go back. I would go back to the manual and actually look up that.
I can field the question if you.
Okay, that'd be great.
All right. So sometimes you have a fun class maybe that you would like a silver level vaulter to vault with maybe a trot level vaulter, and so what that will do is it will allow those vaulters to be in the same class together.
Ah, thank you.
Thank you. That's great. Appreciate that. Okay, so basically you're going to do that with any of your classes here. Open barrel classes at the show are $10. So we can add the class and you can see it comes up here. There are several classes at Tammy's show that are unrecognized, basically. As you can see in our numbers, our classes are all numbered. And these are standard numbers for every show there is, basically. Okay? So if you're going to add an unrecognized class, you do not use these numbers. So if we were going to add a walk class, so after P-trot is 37, there's a space between the barrel start, so we could put class 38, novice walk, individual, and we are going to select round 1. They do 1-star compulsories, and round 2 is usually freestyle. It is an individual class. If we were stipulating Fun Fest versus regular, we could put yes, it is a Fun Fest class because it is unrecognized. It's not a barrel class, but its gate is walk. It's not a USEF class. It's not an AVA class. Its cost per go is $20. There was no cost per round, and it's not a team event. This one we do not want the override logic then, as Lori explained, because we don't want silver vaulters in our walk class. And then we're going to enter our class. So you can see it jumped up here, right in between the barrel and the copper.
And can I just interject again?
Mm-hmm.
Again, your prize list is going to come in real handy, especially when you have unrecognized classes, because the class numbers, you want to make sure your class numbers match the numbers that you have in your prize list. So when you're putting in these unrecognized classes, just go to your prize list and write down the number that you have in your prize list and bring it across that way.
And as you can see, Tammy has 39 instead of 38 for novice walk individual. So I will need to change that. But you can see here she's got all her numbers. And all her other mounted classes that she has here, these are the Canadian classes, Canadian levels that are in the EVA, with the exception of walk pairs, I think. But and then here's all her barrel classes and all their numbers. So let's go back up here. And you can't just change the class number, I don't believe. Oh, you can. Good. Never mind. There we go. So the novice walk has been updated to class 39. Then she had, I just picked up a couple, which was her Mighty Munchkin. Here again, compulsory. Freestyle. You would need to look at the prize list here again to see if that Mighty Munchkins had a regular type compulsories or if it was different. So flag, stand, forward close swing, mill to backwards, reverse swing, inside. So basically it is the 1-star compulsories with a leg up over the croup, or leg up for the mount. So here I would probably just go ahead and put 1-star compulsories. Here again, it's at wow. And we're going to enter the new class. So then our Mighty Munchkins also shows up. So you would just continue to go on down your list and add your classes, add your monetary amount, and then add your classes through these that are already standard classes in the AVA or a normal show, what you would think. Because even though the barrel classes here are not AVA recognized and PTROT, they all do show up on this list. So it does add a little bit of time saving to this because these are already set up. That's that many more you don't have to set up. Down here in the category, you do have where you can add a pairs, a team, or green horse, any of those. So I was trying to think here. Okay. Most of them are already up there that I would have added. So that's cool. Fun Fest, yes or no. Barrel, of course, yes or no. Or if you're setting up a different two-phase team, because as you know, the two-phase includes a compulsory round on the horse and then the freestyle on the barrel. So there is that designation when you are in your barrel to note that so that it knows how to pick it up. Any questions, other questions about adding new classes? Just be sure to refer to your prize list for your numbers, your class numbers, which are all here, and categories, whatever your rounds are. If you have something fun, you would write it in. Otherwise, it would be pretty much any of these that are here. You do want to make sure, like especially if you were setting up something and you somehow eliminated the gold class from the automatic schedule there, you were putting it back in, you would need to make sure you knew which round which discipline was. So in other words, round A would be compulsories, round B I believe is B is technical test, and D is freestyle. So you would need to be sure that they were set up accordingly on that for whichever round, whichever thing the people were doing. Any questions? Okay. Okay, so we pretty much, once you would get through all your prize list and you would have all of your classes installed, or if you're not going to do like the junior senior squad, you don't add those classes. You only want to add the classes that are in your particular prize list. Okay. Questions? Okay, I'll give it back to Lori for sending out the club invitations.
Okay. I think I am back. And at this point, we can put away our prize list. It's been very helpful. And let's see, here I am. Now we all want to invite our clubs now, right? It's not going to be a fun show unless we invite people to come. And remember that if it is an ABA recognized show, you must invite everyone in your region. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click on Invited Club. And now it looks like we're kind of a small group, so I think it would be fun if I give you all a few minutes for you to, well, not a few minutes, not going to take you that long, for you all to open up another browser window on your computers and log on to our CompWeb site. So go ahead and open up another window. Go into the CompWeb program. And at the bottom, it's actually now going to say Sunshine Show instead of Test Site because we renamed it. And you're going to hit Administrator Login at the bottom of that page. You're going to join by putting in the login webinar. How's everybody doing? Okay, if you're there, please give me a I'm there.
Any participants find that page?
We may have had some people step away, I think.
I'm lost. Okay.
Did you get a text? Okay, so here I'm gonna start from the beginning.
Thank you.
So I'm going to go to vaulting.swcp.com, and that's going to take me here. Okay.
Got it.
All right. So now we're going to scroll down to the very bottom of the page here. And do you see our Sunshine Show?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so we're going to click on Sunshine Show. And it's going to show us our competition login page. Right, do you see that?
Got it, yes.
All right. Okay, so now we're going to go to the bottom of that page. In the bottom left-hand corner, you're going to see a button called Administrator Login Page.
There we go.
We're going to click on that. And that should bring us to a password box. And it's going to be all lowercase letters. We're going to type in webinar and hit login.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I think you might be the only one following this piece, but thank you for doing that. Now, at this point, we want to invite our opening of entries. We're going to click on the button that says Offered Classes. No, sorry, we just did that. We're going to click on the button that says Invited Clubs. Okay, Do you see the invited clubs?
Got it. Yes, I'm following with you now.
All right. Okay, so what I want for you to do, what's your name?
Regan Copeland with OC Vaulting.
Okay, Regan, what I want you to do is in the box that says Add Clubs from the AVA database, if you could find your club in your region, it's a scroll down thing.
Okay.
Find your club and click on it.
Okay.
And then click the box underneath that says Add Clubs.
Got it. Okay, great.
Okay, do you see your club up there in invited clubs?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to refresh my page, and there you are. I see you.
Right.
Okay, and so let's see. Just for kicks, you are in Region 1, it looks like.
Yes.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click everybody in Region 1, because if this were your show, that's what you would do.
Right.
You would click, it starts with Ace Walters, it looks like, and it ends with Wasatch Peak Walters. And so I can click and I can hit Shift, and that will add everybody. Everything is in blue now that I selected. Okay, do you see that?
Yes. Yes.
And now I'm going to hit Add Club. Okay, so in the invited clubs now, that you're doing live, you're going to hit the refresh button up in your browser, the reload.
Yes, there we go. I see them all.
Okay, awesome. All right, now if you wanted to invite everybody in the AVA, you just highlight everybody.
Okay.
Okay, so you click the first one to the last and hit your shift bar into the last one, and that just invites everybody.
Okay.
But just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and add my team, well, Kathy's team too, just because I know the vaulters in that club, and I'm going to go ahead and have you refresh again. Is that way it'll show my club, our club, Riverview Walters in Region 3.
There we go.
Okay, good. Awesome. And you'll notice that it automatically generates a password for everybody that you've invited. So we have our club, region, address, city, state, zip, and a password. It automatically does that for you.
Brilliant.
Yes, it's pretty cool. I think that if this were an actual show, we would then go ahead and send club invitation emails. Since we don't actually want to invite these people to our test thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to remove some of these.
Okay.
Because, yeah, I think that Devin from Faith might go, what? The what? So we're going to remove these, but I'm going to go ahead and keep ours.
You can keep OC Vaulting in too if you want. The info comes to me.
Okay, that sounds great. I'll go ahead and keep OC in there. Are there any other clubs present here that would like their team included in this fun little thing? Okay. Okay, I got 2 more to remove, and then what I'll have you do is go ahead and refresh again. Okay, go ahead and refresh, and it should show 2 clubs.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So at the bottom here, just kind of a little a little tip. When we're ready to send these invites, what we will do, well, actually, I'm going to show you a little thing too. I'm going to go ahead and edit my password already. So I'm going to hit edit. And instead of all the string of numbers, I'm just going to write the name of my horse here. And that's my new password. I like to do that just because. Go ahead and hit your refresh button again, and you'll see the change that I made.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it just makes it easy for me because I don't like to remember that many numbers.
Yeah.
And so if you want to, in your window, to edit yours as well.
Okay. There.
Okay, I'm going to hit my refresh button.
Oh, good.
Okay, so your password is Gigi.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to send ourselves an invitation to our own show.
Okay, you'll have to be careful here because it will go to all the judges and
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
and everybody as well. And they might go, what?
What? Okay, thank you for reminding me about that. It's true.
But
So,
we may be able to just put something in the message that this is a test only or something like that.
actually, I think let's skip it. But I will tell you at the bottom where it says set club passwords, that's only if you want to reset everything. I've never had an occasion to do that. It says also send club invitation emails, and it says will not work from Yahoo account and others. And I will tell you that it does not work from my Google account. But the send club invitation emails that says send email from address vaulting.swcp.com, that always works. So for me, I always send the club invitations from that.
Is there any way we could do that? Because Regan from OC Vaulting has never, I do the registration for our club, but she's never seen that, and I don't want her to have a place. I want her to be able to have a place to play around. I know you have the judge problem, but if there's a way that she could get that invitation, that would be awesome.
Okay, then we'll go ahead and do what Kathy suggested and send the invitation and just let the judges know that this is not a real show.
Thank you. That's awesome.
That's great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go ahead and bring back the window that I'm at, and you can watch what happens here. Is everybody back with me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to click Send Club Invitation Emails. Okay, and this is the screen that you're going to get. So I'm going to put my name, Lori, and it automatically filled in my email. And these are just, this is fixed. You don't have to do anything here, okay? It's going to automatically fill in what's here.
Oh.
Okay? You don't have to do anything. This is the part where you get to edit something. And I'm going to say, in capital letters, judges and officials, this is a classroom only test show. This is not a real show. Sorry for the extra email. And you know what? All those people are very cool. They're going to get it, and they're actually probably going to be glad to see we're doing something like this. So I'm not worried about making anybody mad.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. But you would put something in here like this. You would put something like, Welcome to our show. We're excited to be hosting this show. You know, you're going to put anything in there that you want to put in there that make people excited to come to your show.
Got it.
And these things you can edit. Most people choose not to because it talks about where to find the prize list, and it gives a little disclaimer if something's wrong on CompWeb. It does not does not bump what's in the prize list. The prize list is golden, and it gives people instructions. And something that I actually forgot, the last thing I sent out was to edit this and put your name there.
Okay.
Like that. And you can do a test to see how it's going to look. Let's go ahead and do that. So this is the what people will see in their email.
Okay.
It gives her password if she wants to. It says this. See there? It says my name there.
If you go and then if you go up just a little bit or whatever, there's your judges and officials. This is a classroom test only is in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
See here.
Oh, there we go. I see.
See it right in the middle.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So they're all going to get this email. And it says, in this case, it says to go ahead and use the browser back button. And we're going to go ahead and click send email.
Okay.
And
you can return without sending them also if for some reason you don't want to.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
But this is good to get it so that Regan can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thank you.
And this is showing, it says processing. It's going to all these people. And it does take a few minutes. It does take a little bit. I've noticed that sometimes people get a little impatient with it and think, oh, maybe I did something wrong and maybe it didn't send.
Okay.
But just wait, because very likely it's going to send in the next couple of minutes. And I've had many, like even 3 invitations to the same show, I think because somebody was worried that actually it didn't work.
Right.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and click to the main administration page. And while we wait, we can go to our email. Oh, look, I just got an invitation to the Sunshine Show. So I imagine that you did too.
Okay. Nice. Great.
Do you see it?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, not on mine, because Cindy got it, but I can see yours on the screen.
Okay. So if I wanted to sign my kids up, this is what I see. And so I'm going to click here, and it's going to open up the page. And look, Harborview Vaulters and OC Vaulting are invited to this show.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I can select my club, and I can put in my password, which everybody knows is Joey, and I can click Login. And here, I can click the list of offered classes, and these are the classes that we entered a few minutes ago with Kathy. I can click Done. I can click, because this is my club, everything for my club is going to be available to me. So I can register a horse. These are the horses for our club. If I wanted to, say, put Indiana Jones, I can do that. It's giving me matches. I mean, it's giving me a warning because I haven't signed up for the show yet, and I'm the owner of that horse. But it's okay. It'll still let me add it. So I'm just going to click Add. And you can see here that my registered horses, I've got Indiana Jones, and I can click Done. Okay, so if you go into yours and follow that same thing there, okay. Okay, where are you at? How are you doing there, Regan?
Good. I don't have the email yet. I don't think.
Oh, okay. Then what you're seeing then is what I've got on my screen. So, member registration form. Okay. Now.
Oh, I just got it.
Because of the classes that we have, excuse me, entered. Oh, did you do that, Kathy?
Yes, I did. I had a million of also.
I was like, where did these registered participants come from? I didn't do it. So you will see the members of your club all listed in a drop-down menu here where it says Club People Registered with the AVA. So these are all the vaulters and the coaches that are registered with the AVA from our club. And what we can do is we can click a name, and it automatically puts them down here. But what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this vaulter is not just in the Fun Fest. So we're going to say, no, this is not just a Fun Fest vaulter. We're going to say, yes, this is a vaulter. We're going to say, no, this is not a lunger. Saying, no, this is not a coach, and no, a trainer, and no, a horse owner. And then we can add her if she's just a vaulter. Now you can see here that Kathy has added both her and I, and we've changed those. We're going to say, oh, you said that we're...
I didn't change them. No, this is how you change them.
So we're going to edit, because you do not want to see me trying to vault. I am not a vaulter. I am a lunger. I am a coach. I am a trainer, and I am a horse owner. So I'm going to hit modify on that.
Okay.
Okay, and then for Kathy, we'll modify her too.
You definitely don't want to see me vault. No.
Kathy is a lunger and a coach, not a trainer and a horse owner, so we're going to modify her like that. Okay, but the default is for vaulter, which is the most common one.
May I ask a question about this screen also?
Yes.
So when I've gone to register, let's say like for Pacific Cup right now, it's different options. So it'll have in there the CVI and the groom, but then it seems like it sort of flip-flops between those. Is that just depending on when I register? If we say USEF back at the few pages ago, will that change what this page looks like?
I honestly have not done a CVI, so it could very well.
Okay.
I know that here, if it is a USEF show, you do have to put in the USEF number.
Okay.
And otherwise it will not allow you to put that vaulter or coach or whatever in as a USEF class, which would be the gold, bronze, silver.
Okay, I noticed there's an additional space that'll say, maybe it's instead of trainer, it says groom. It's slightly different, and I wasn't sure how to get that screen to be the other screen instead of this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could very well change it depending on the type of show that you've got going.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Good question, though. You know, it's a good question if we don't know the answer. We can't give me the answer.
So from the email that I have, I click on it and then I go to the AVA Comp Web opening page again. And where do I go to for this invitation? Do I go back down to the
to the Sunshine
Show? Oh, okay. All right.
And then do you see Harborview and OC there in the list on that page?
Yes. And then I just put in Gigi and great, I'm logged in.
Yeah. Okay. And see, that's what the person who does the team entries will see.
Okay.
And then you click all the people that you want registered for the show. And we'll just stick with the 4 we've got here. So I'm going to say done. We've already registered 1 horse. The stabling form here. I'm going to go ahead and give my horse Indiana Jones for a stall. And so I clicked the stabling button. And up here it says the stalls are 12 by 12. Remember, we just copied and pasted that. 1 page bag of shavings is included. That came straight from the price list. And then we're going to just click Add. And because I'm there for 2 days, it's given me a cost of $80. Now from the drop-down menu for stabling type, we put in a $40 stall and a $40 tack room. So I'm going to drop down and also get us a nice little tack room. So I've got an indoor stall and I have a tack room.
I believe, Lori, you should also be able to edit that and drop down at the Indiana Jones.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
And it should say tack room.
Yeah, so if I hit edit, and it does say tack room, so I modify it. Thanks. Forgot. And then once we're done with that, we can hit done. And so now we have a horse, we have a place for our horse to live, and then we can go to the individual entry form. And we've got our classes where it says select class. And then we'll hit OK.
Lori, you're cutting out just a little bit, at least here. So she went to, as you could kind of follow her on the screen, I guess, but your voice was cutting out just a little.
Okay. I'm going to hit OK. And it's very rare that you're not going to want your vaulter to do all the rounds in the class. So we're just going to leave the rounds to all rounds in this class, and it'll automatically register this person for all the rounds. And in the drop-down menu, we'll click a coach. I'll be the coach, and in this case, we'll make Kathy be the lunger just for fun.
Ooh, yay, I get to lunge.
Yes.
I get to lunge Indy.
We'll click our horse. And if there is something that you want a note, for instance, like maybe we want this person to run in with a different team, then we can do that. Now, if we have, for instance, if you have a vaulter that wants to vault on somebody else's horse, what you're going to have to do is click this yes button. And I think it's funny that they have to say this, but it says they must be registered in the system first, get permission for horses. It makes me kind of wonder if some vaulters have gone on and thought to themselves, I would like to vault on such and such a horse, even though it wasn't their club horse. If they registered to vault on that horse without getting permission, that would be an interesting situation.
Right.
But if we click yes, when we pull down a horse, and so far India is still the only horse registered, but all the horses that were registered for the competition would show up.
Okay.
So I'm just going to hit cancel and go back there. I'm going to go back and register our vaulter and our lunger. Well, so there's that and that. And I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to select our vaulter. She's our vaulter. Now you notice that it did not include Heather Haugen because she is actually a registered as a silver vaulter. So it did not give the option for her to vault copper. I mean, sorry, bronze.
Well, copper now, but yeah.
Yeah. It didn't give her the option. The only way that it would have given her the option is if we had clicked. Okay, so now we click done and we have Genevieve all registered for copper individual.
One way that you may do it by round is if you had a vaulter that likes doing their complexities on one horse and then their freestyle on a different horse. So that would be one way that you would not do the all rounds check mark.
Okay.
Okay, if we're done registering people for classes, we're going to click cancel/done, and it'll pop us back over here. Now, because we did not put any pairs classes, the pairs option is not here. We did offer teams. We do have FunFest classes, so it's right here. And then we haven't done this yet, but we'll show you how to add order forms for t-shirts, programs, or other things.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and log out of this because we're in our team things. And are there any other questions before we move on to the next piece? Let's go ahead and log in to that administrator. And go ahead and type webinar into there. And maybe what I'll have you do is go ahead and shrink your window where you have your stuff going on for a little bit. So we've already sent out the club invitations. And before I pass this back to Kathy to talk about volunteer lists, there are questions for what we've done. I know that this is a lot of information. We are recording this, so if you want to go back and go over it again, you can do that. But for now, is everybody good? Everybody's okay?
Yeah, how will we get access to this later? Because I do have some other people in our club that we want them to go through it.
Okay. I'll post a link. But another way to do it is to go to AVA Region 3 on YouTube. There's a channel, and
Okay.
the channel is called AVA Region 3, and it has and these webinars are being posted at that site.
It's got a playlist that has them. I keep losing your voice sometimes, Lori, so that's why I...
Okay. The playlist is called General.
Okay.
And that's where these are being posted.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to pass it back to Kathy, who's going to go over how to make a volunteer list. And there she goes.
And here I am. Okay. Okay, so shall I go over extra items first?
Sure.
For the items, if you click, you're on your administration page, you can add extra items here, like if you want to do a t-shirt, extra large, say, and the cost is $25. 1 unit per unit. Okay, so this is a per unit, and it automatically gives you a sequence, and then it would come up here. Okay, so you could do camping, and you could do $25 a night, 1 unit. Okay, so you can add as many as you want. Normally, you would put some sort of a sizing or a per night. Let's see, youth small. Oops. And they may be $20 per unit, per 1 unit. Okay, so that's just adding them in as they can. Why it went I don't know, but we want one. Okay, so that's, you just add those in. You're done when you're done. And then if you were to go back to the main menu and come into your team sign in, then you could go to this t-shirts, programs, etc., and you see the items that you have extra for sale, the things that don't normally fall under any of the classes or anything like that. Okay, so you can pretty much add anything you want there. Let's put, this is how many we're going to have. We have maybe somebody who wants to camp 3 nights. 3 nights, 3 nights. Here we go. Whoop. 3 nights. Why didn't it do it? Am I in the wrong part?
Go on. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Oh, there we go. So it gives you a drop down then for 3 nights. And okay. Now when you go to your payment sheet, oh,
You want to be the volunteer coordinator?
Volunteer coordinator, whoever it is. Then, when you come to your payment sheet, you can see under your extra items ordered, you get your amount. It doesn't break it down in the payment sheet what those are for, so you do have to either write them down or something like that in order to get those. Okay, so I'm going to log out of there and we'll go back to our Sunshine Show. Okay, at the beginning screen for the show, you see the volunteer sign up and thank you for your help and sign up for jobs here. We're going to click on that and you can see that it showed the volunteer system's closed for maintenance. Okay, so we're going to log in as the volunteer coordinator, and if you remember back on the competition information area that we filled in the volunteer coordinator sign in or password was 123 test. Okay, so right now the volunteer system is disabled, and because we're going to maintain it. Okay, once you get your volunteer area all set up, then you can enable it for people to sign up in there. Your volunteer coordinator information would be whoever is in charge of volunteer sign up for the show. So it could be anybody. Okay, there are several ways that you can add new jobs. One would be individually. Let's see. Is there anything? No. Add a new job, which then you would fill in timer, blue, judge A, day, Saturday. Wait, I'm going to go back from this. I'm not going to do this yet. I don't want to add a new job yet, just because I also want to show you how you can copy a list from another fest. And if you copy a list from another fest, you can't do it if you have things already in your volunteer sheet there. So you can look through these and find a show that might be as close to your particular show. If it just has one ring and two judges or one judge, you might pick one, or however you would want that to go.
Does it scroll down anymore, or is that all the options? Okay. Maybe.
It does scroll down. You can scroll up or down to see if you can find one.
Is the new fest on there? Yeah, there it is. Northeast Washington Mountain Fest.
Okay, and we're going to copy this table. And it gives you all this stuff. Copy table. Did it work?
I don't know.
Let's go. Okay, return to administration page, and there it is. Okay, so it copies it, it gives you all of the things that it's going to fill in, and then you return to the administration page, and you see how it shows up that these are all of the jobs that have been entered for the Northeast Washington Mountain Fest. It's a one-ring show with one judge, Saturdays, Sundays, and then it's broken into 2 time periods a day, 8 a.m. to noon and 1 to 5. And this would be for people in your club or outside your club. You can set it up for your club only if you want to know which people in your club are going to be doing this, or you can set it up for everybody outside, anybody who's coming to the show to sign up. So
a question real quick. So if we have it to accept volunteers outside of our club, then would they be able to click on this and see the jobs and sign up for them themselves, or do they email us individually and let us know what they would like to do?
That's kind of up to you. Once you have your jobs set, you can enable the sign up.
Gotcha.
Okay, because we're still in the administration.
Right.
Okay, and there's not a good way to go back, so you almost have to close it and then reopen CompWeb, go down to our Sunshine Show. Volunteers, okay, so sign up for jobs here, and it lists all the jobs then that are available for sign up. Okay?
Okay.
And so anybody, you can just open it up on your show and they can sign up for jobs, and then they would fill in whatever their team name and such as that is. So if we are going to sign up to be a runner, Lori, you can be a runner this time.
Girls are busy.
Yeah. And we're going to give her credit to our club. We're going to submit it.
What does that mean, credit to the club? I saw in there it said 1 club credit, 2 club credits.
Sometimes to make sure that the volunteers are evenly spread among the teams, you give credit for a job, and depending on the amount of vaulters that are at the competition for your team, if you have 5 vaulters, you may say, as show management, you may say that you require 5 volunteer hours or volunteer credits to cover your team's help with the show.
Okay.
And so that's where the volunteer credits come in. Whoa, where'd that come from? Not sure where that came from. So Lori should have, well, we didn't put her email address in, so that was bad of me. But
that's okay. I didn't want to be a runner.
So you can view the filled jobs, and then you can see where, okay, Lori Robinson of Harborview is going to be the runner Saturday morning or Saturday all day in there.
Bring my power bar.
That better have a granola bar.
Yeah.
Okay, so logging in as volunteer coordinator again. So you can edit any job. Say you want to change the time on it, that this job is actually going to only go to, well, actually it's going to go to 12:30 because we're only going to allow a half-hour lunch in this ring on this day, and then you can modify the job.
Is that typical? You take a lunch break for the entire arena?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm 100% new green to this. So.
That's okay. That will all come in a little bit later, or as we move on here. Where are we at time-wise? We have about a half hour.
Okay.
And the next 2 items, which go into setting up the order of go.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a text that automatically goes out for the volunteer. Okay, it comes from your coordinator that says, you volunteered to do such and such a job at such and such time, here you go. And if you can't do it, contact whoever your coordinator is. This is all editable. Most people just leave it as it is. Okay? Same thing if you just want to send a text to all of them. You can do a group text. This is the reports per club. Report credits per club. Harborview has 2 credits and they have 2 vaulters, so technically if it was 1 credit per vaulter, we would have reached our volunteer status. We're good volunteers. Okay? If we had 5 vaulters and it was 1 per vaulter, this is all show management decisions. Okay? How many credits? Do you even want to do credits, or do you just want to have people help wherever they can? The show credits does help, volunteer credits does help keep it pretty even based on the number of vaulters that you have going, so that a team that has only 2 vaulters doesn't volunteer 90% of the time, unless it's their show. No. And then the team that brings 12 vaulters only does 1 thing. So it just helps kind of to even it out when you do the credits like that.
Okay.
Okay. Any other? Okay, so list of volunteer coordinators. Okay, here I am. I signed myself up when we were signing up for the show, when it wouldn't let us see our payment sheet until we signed in a volunteer coordinator. This is where I signed in. Normally it says to put the name, email address, and phone number, so those would all be filled in.
Okay.
Okay. And that helps where if you are the volunteer coordinator for the show and you have a question on something, you can contact the team volunteer coordinator as well.
Okay. Now, is it possible for our club to use this part of the admin website for other things that we do that have nothing to do with a competition? So, like we're doing a 3-day expo thing at our local fairgrounds, like a STEM festival. Are we able to use this portion of the website to help coordinate our volunteers just within our club?
I don't believe it's a separate thing outside of CompWeb, but it would be a good question probably for Russ Hobby to see if he could set something up like that for you.
Okay. I know there's other programs. There's just
It's kind of a fun one there. So the volunteer section always kicks you out to something. It doesn't basically allow you to come back in.
Oh.
So that's the one thing about the volunteer site. There isn't back to list of shows or anything like that. Okay?
Okay.
Any other questions on the volunteer, how to set it up? So if you go, this is the list of jobs we set up. Our volunteer coordinator login page. The 1, 2, 3 test and log in. You can show unfilled jobs. You can view filled jobs. You can go back to the job list. This is all of them. Logging in as volunteer coordinator. If you find that you missed something, you can add a new job by filling in this information.
Okay.
And then just pressing add new job. You can also, like I say, if you want to copy a job, okay, this is already out there. We're going to go ahead and copy it because we actually want maybe it in the white with Judge B for the same time frame. Then we can return to the administration page. Go to unfilled jobs. We should have lots of music here. Okay. So here's our white one that we copied to add. And we copied just another one here, which we would probably have to edit because it's exactly the same as this one. You can also search or sort them by job title, which puts them in alphabetical order, or day and start. Okay. If you go to filled jobs, you can also sort it by club name, team, and name. So everything that Harborview had signed up for, we would see all the jobs and what they were. Or whoever had signed up, whatever club. Okay. There is a basic job description on the ABA site that kind of gives you what jobs might do, like your clerk, your timer, announcer, music person, your gate manager, hospitality, what your office workers would do, what your ribbon people, usher if you decide to have those, sales, grounds maintenance, pooper scooper, however you want to call them, all those kind of things. Okay? And those are actually on the ABA site. So,
is there a way to keep a list of these, you know, the different volunteer jobs? Because I know you had to go into the other competition to copy the jobs over, and I know that in CompWeb, those competitions clock out during a certain period of time. Is there a way to keep a permanent list going, you know, like for one-day event with one ring, that kind of thing? Because how would I know going through what the current events, the current competitions are, and how they would have those things to copy them over?
Without them timing out. Let's see. Familiarity, I guess, with the shows themselves, other than if you were to hopefully go into a different show and maybe, you know, see their prize list.
In our region, nobody uses this function except for nationals. So we never have the opportunity to, you know, use this at another competition. But we'd like to
volunteer?
Use ours.
The volunteer portion?
Yeah, except nationals.
Okay, so when you guys hold shows down there, a lot of times you run your own show and use your own people. Is that it?
Yeah, in our region, pretty much the competition that hosts the show is expected to have the volunteers, but I don't know why we couldn't have that opened up for our show if we had some additional spaces where people have been willing to help, and for our own club to coordinate our volunteers. So I would like to be able to use it, but I don't know which one of these I would copy and paste over. And is there any way just to hold it in there? Is it more of a form, you know?
That would be a really cool option, to be able just to download something onto an external hard drive and just keep it.
Yeah.
Or even have a template for a one ring or a two ring or a three ring show.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense, and unfortunately I don't think that's available.
Yeah, I don't see where it has that option. I know that some things you can copy from other sets or download like an Excel file to create it, but I don't see that here for this one.
And you were saying before that, is there a way to request things of CompWeb? Is there someone that maintains that can make those adjustments, or are they going to move away from CompWeb completely in the future?
Right now, CompWeb is what we have, and Russ Hobby is the administrator of it. I know that the AVA has looked into and continues to look into other scoring programs, but for now, I don't know of if they have any right on the horizon or not.
Okay, and how do we reach Russ?
Okay, his address is on the first CompWeb page there.
Oh, great, thank you.
Right here, right at the top of the page, you can email him. You may be able to find something in one of the manuals as well.
Okay.
You know, that might have a little more information on how do you keep that portion.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other volunteer questions? Okay. Don't hear any. So we're going to go back into our administrator login. This is our webinar. This is for the show itself. And now we're moving on here to the order of go. So close of entries has happened. It's moved on. Nobody else can sign up. So now we're going to set up for how do we do our order of go.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes?
No, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Okay. So the sequencing tool is basically what happens when. So you have a day, an arena, a round or class, and the sequence. So we're going to start off on day one in the blue arena with our copper compulsories. We'll start at just a 30 sequence in case we want to put something before it or after it. I find it pretty easy just to put it in increments of 10 or 20 to set it up. Okay, so our day one copper has moved up into day one. Freestyles we're going to put on day two, and I'm going to also make it say sequence 30. Since it's a different day, you can use the same sequence. You can see here day one, day two.
And this is a competition management question. How do you decide what's best for that? Putting, what day to put it on, what time of day to put it on?
It varies. Basically, we take a look. We have a green horse class, and we try and usually do that very first thing on day one so that those green horses can get used to the arena and it's all taken care of at that point. Then we kind of look at, okay, compulsories. Mix them up. Do you want to go in order? Do you not want to go in order of class like copper, bronze, silver, gold? We know that that silver and bronze have 2 rounds of compulsories. So usually round 1 is on one day, round 2 is on the other day. Silver has 2 rounds of freestyle, so it's one round here again on one day, one on the other. Gold compulsories, usually try to get those earlier in case technical tests have to be that day, or if technical test and the freestyle is going to be the second day. Normally the second day is shorter, in our region anyway, it tends to be shorter. And so we try and put technical tests maybe towards the end of day one or the afternoon of day one, so that they only have freestyle on Sunday or on the second day. So it is just kind of a administration, your show administration, taking a look at what's happened at other shows, how you liked other shows, that you went to, if you preferred that, okay, I prefer that all the barrel take place in the middle of the day so that the horses can go in the morning, they have the break in the midday, and then horses again in the later afternoon. That's if you're running a one-ring show. Okay, if you're running 2 rings, then you can have horse all day in 1 ring, barrel in the morning, and then horse in the afternoon for lower levels if you want. It is pretty much a show management, what you like to see, how you want your show to run. It's pretty fun to end up the show either with a fun class, like a costume class, or we have what's called a Shannon class, which is a music interp to unknown music, or to music that's not their own. So we will tend to end up the days with a fun class or with the higher level vaulters to leave everything on a really good note. So it just kind of depends. Do you have any comment on that, Lori?
Yeah, I think also what you'll find is if you have like 5 golds in a class, but then you have 40 coppers, the number of the amount of time it takes to get through a class might dictate what day it happens. So let's say you really want your golds to have their first two rounds on Saturday. There might not be time for that big copper class in the morning and freestyle in the afternoon. You might have to kick copper to Sunday just for time. So sometimes it's a time management issue as well.
Yeah, some of the bigger classes, like Lori says, do take a lot more time, and so you may have a copper or a bronze class that takes the whole morning just because it's a huge class. So, time, number of vaulters, all fall in there. Okay. You can dictate here in this your arena start time. So on day 1, you may say, okay, I want the arena, oh, look we only have one class, so we're going to have it start at 9 o'clock. $5 p.m. Okay, that didn't work. 9 a.m. Okay. You don't always have to put that. You can just put, it automatically starts, I believe, at 8 o'clock in the morning when you start your order of goods. So this, if you want it to dictate it at a different time, would come at that time. This here would be as if you're going to have rake breaks. Say after a huge bronze class, you want to put in a rake break. You can say day 1 in the blue arena, we want to have a rake break that is 15 minutes long, and it's going to be at sequence 35. And so then you see our rake break came in here. Okay. You can also make that rake break. You can change it, the wording, so that it's lunch break, approximately how long that is, and add that in there. You can change what judges get what. This particular one only has a judge A in blue sequence. That's if you have different judges, if you have 2 or 3 judges. It'll actually separate out who has what judge. Here's the judges. For some reason, came in at 4. So this is basically how you sequence your order of go. We will do a basic sequence normally when Lori and I do a show. We'll do a basic sequence of how we want things to run. We'll go to the timing. Timing we're going to work on next. And then we'll kind of run an order of go to see what it looks like if there's too many conflicts or anything like that, or if it goes way too long in the day. Okay?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what the sequence means. So I thought that when you said sequence 30, that meant it was going to allow you to put in up to 30 30 time slots. I'm sorry, I don't know what the sequence section means.
Okay. Yeah, you could put in, it has nothing to do with the number of people.
Okay.
Okay, number of vaulters. It's strictly where it falls in the sequence of your time of your day. So I put it as 30. It came in as a sequence of 1 in that day with the start time at 0. Okay. Sequence, if I wanted to edit this, okay, and make it a sequence of 5, then now it's moved the break and the lunch and the judges, and it's moved that class down after all of those.
Okay, so that just means it was the number of order. Okay.
Right. It's just the order it falls in the day.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We only have that one copper vaulter set up in the system right now, so that's why it's only showing just these 2 classes available. If you are going to be joining us in the next session, you can always go in and add a few things, change this particular site, add some classes, add vaulters into those, and then, you know, we can resequence work on the sequencing of when these new classes will go in. Because as you can see, it doesn't have any more classes to put in there because we only have the copper compulsories and copper freestyle set up that people were actually signed up for at this time. It only allows you to sequence that after people have signed up for it, for the class. So if we, for example, if we had somebody that was doing gold as well as copper, we should have in this class round here, should also have the gold comps, gold tech test, and gold freestyle that we would also sequence into up here. So we'd also move them around. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Any other questions on the sequencing or setting up the sequence of the day? Okay. The next thing would be the timing tool. That is how much time does each horse, vaulter, team, whatever take during the day. Here again, we only have the one class. So let me come out of this one. And I'm going to see, going to the new Mountain Fest, Northeast Washington Mountain Fest. Am I picking the wrong number, wrong letters, Lori? It's the word plus the numbers, or the word, or the numbers and the word?
It's NEW.
Is it all caps on the NEW? Yep. Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
Okay. Order go. We'll see if anybody's signed up in this. Not yet. Okay. This isn't helping me. Okay, so let's go back to our sample one. Whoops. Sorry, I'm jumping around here. Okay, so basically this base time has also been called horse time, has been called separation time, whatever. Normally, for compulsories, a 1 minute horse time and like a 1.5 Valter increment time is very close. 2.5 minutes per team if there's only one Valter, or 1 minute plus a 1.5 minutes per Valter if there's more than one Valter per team. Okay, so freestyle, I usually give still the minute for the horse time, but I might increase the Valter time to 2.5 minutes because the calculating of the scoring for the freestyle usually takes a little bit longer. So that would give at least 1.5 minutes for a 1 minute routine for the judge to do the scoring and such. Plus you have your base time here of 1 minute. You can adjust that at any point. You could make 2 minutes for the horse time to be able to run in, run out, warm up if they call for a horse warm up when they get into the arena or into the circle, then that gives a little more time in that. Valter increment, usually 1.5 minutes is about right because they have 1 minute routines that give them a half hour or a half minute extra. Compulsories aren't timed, so it gives that little bit of extra there. For the freestyle, like I say, a Valter increment of about 2 to 2.5 minutes is what we found works for the judge to do the additional scoring between Valters. And this is all setting up here again your timing for your order of go.
What would you recommend for pas de deux and for team?
Okay, team, I would still, well, I would give only, let's see, do we have any teams? No. For a team, I would only give a base time of probably 5 minutes because I believe their routines are 4 minutes. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Either a 5 or 6 minute time frame there. And I would just do it as a base time, not an increment time. A Valter increment time, I would make this 0 and just put like 6 minutes for a team.
For
okay.
Freestyle and compulsories?
That's for the freestyle.
That would be for freestyle. Compulsories, I think they have to have them done in 8 minutes, right?
Yes, I think so.
So you could probably put an 8 minute time frame there and be good.
And just so I can understand, make sure I'm understanding this correctly, so that includes from when the judge rings the bell from when they're in the warm-up to running in? Because the 8 minutes, I would think, from when they're in the circle after the trot circle. Do I need to account for that in the base time, or would that be in the vaulter increment time or somewhere else?
You would make it in the base time when you're looking at a team. So a team is a 4-minute freestyle, and then you could add, say, 2 minutes for the in, out, the warm-up, you know, the trot circle, etc. And so if your team had 6 minutes, they should be able to run in, have the trot circle, do their freestyle or their routine, and then go out within that 6 minutes.
Okay. So then for compulsories for a team, I would make the base then 10 minutes?
You could make it 9 or 10.
Okay, thank you.
Because usually they're not going to, usually I haven't seen them take a full 8 minutes on their compulsories.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so then you're looking at, okay, how much dead time am I having between teams, because they don't have to technically go in until their next time is available.
Yeah.
So if I make it 10 minutes and it only takes them 5 minutes to do their compulsories, now we're 5 minutes ahead of schedule.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's a fine-tuned thing.
I know. I'm very nervous about this part of it, so thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, don't you have a downloaded guide for that on your little external hard drive?
Possibly. I think I do, but it's way over there right now.
If it would be something that you would like to share with others.
Yeah.
Just because it is kind of a fine-tuned thing, and it is the difference between a show that runs late or a show that runs early or a show that runs sort of on time. You know, in a perfect world, it would run on time, but, you know, things happen and then things fall behind or things go ahead. But Kathy's kind of figured out a good formula for a pretty on-time show.
And I can share that next time if we can, because I don't have that right handy here.
Yeah.
And it looks like our time frame is up for today, unless everybody has questions. Because I can switch that over and we can start that the next session we can go back into timing a little bit.
Thank you. That would be great. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for all the time you're giving and putting this on for us. It's so helpful.
Yes, thank you very much.
Good. I'm glad you guys are getting something from it and enjoying it.
Oh, it's really great that you're doing this. Thank you.
And the site will be open if you want to go in on your own time and play around with stuff. I went in there a little bit. You can actually add other teams and add other vaulters without sending them an invitation, and they're in the system. So if you wanted to go in from the administration page and just play with what it looks like when you add vaulters, what it looks like when you add classes, you're welcome just to go in there and just have fun.
Great.
And that's one thing if you go ahead and add the teams, you can go in to this club registration and see it shows everybody that's there.
Those are people that I put in just for fun.
Okay. There's a place where you can go, modify club entries. We could go to any of these teams and add people, add a horse, put them in a class, whatever we want to do on this test site. When you're a club manager, you can do that to make any changes, or when you are a show management, I should say, when you're show management, after close of entries, you can go in and modify as needed on special cases, like, okay, Susie just broke her arm in 3 places and she won't be at the show. So you can go into that club, go to their club entry, take that person out of all the classes that they're in, and remove them from their member registration, and then that person would not show up in your order of go.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that is as show management, after close of entry, you still can access that.
That's great.
But feel free to, like Lori said, go in and play in this Sunshine Show down way at the bottom, and we can look at that, at changes that have been made and stuff that's done. So, okay.
Wonderful. When will you have this one up on your YouTube page?
Before the weekend is out.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming, and we'll pick up where we left off here. I think it's a couple weeks, right?
Yes.
On the 24th, I want to say, and same time, same channel. And if you discover any questions, please bring them, and we'll, like I say, keep shouldering on. And we should be able to get through the whole CompWeb stuff next time that we meet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.